Menta kasngi ka arpunyo tarik jembang arajar arpunrio ka kabinet ha kajing yalang lashim ya karai banwan ra ya kajing penkala ha bayadai bat ka an Meghalaya Forest Authority Act ka khandai spa khandai huai kajing mut jong kani ka an ka long ban yarap ha kajing ya trailang ha preng ka sorkar jala bat ke district council khanang baban dubla ban pentri kam yiki kendon baper umentri rang ba ka jala ha bakran ha kilat pathai khubor ulaong baya kani ka an shimlala ban pentri kampura namar baya kabor ha ka bayadai bat kaliang pisa la ban pendon kam badai halor kani ka tanat an kala kedau ya kani kajing bakalabat kani kajing penkala kalong ba kumnu unla ban pentri kam pura ya ka an ha ka ba kila ban pendon kam ya ka pisa kawai pat karai ke balashim kalong ha kajing pendon kam ya ki kerdan bat kerteng ha ki kali sorkar bat ya kani la IT ha ka tanat kakit kaba bakan shim ya karai ki ei ki bala bantho ya kajingwa kerteng haki kali sorkar bat menta kasngi ketenat kakit kaba kalawan ra ya kathup jong kitu ki bala ban tho kerteng ya kaba ka kabinet kala pedang ka kabinet kala shimru ya karai ban pli ya kalat ba ki babu kali kin siew shisien ni ka khajana kaba kila pynsah ya ka khajana kaba dei bat ka jingkit ya ki brio kaba latip kum ka passenger tax ka khajana ya ki mar ki mata kaba latip kum ki goods tax bat ka khajana ya ka jingbit jingbiang kali kabalatip kum ka fitness tanks umentri rangba ulaong ba don bun ba kibabu kali ban kamai kiba kamai hakini ki arpho snem baladam bun na kiba bu kali kamai kaba shim la panthamai yaki kot kisla na kidaw kiba bun ka khajana kamdei kaba he henrei kaba he dei ka kuna kiba kishim sanfoting ka shisngi la dei ka fitness certificate.
We just completed a cabinet meeting and there were three formal items that were taken up today. The first agenda was a small amendment to the Meghalaya Forest Authority Act of 1991, where basically the purpose of this particular Meghalaya Forest Authority was to help coordinate between the State Forest Department as well as the district councils so that different monitoring mechanisms could be implemented. And that was the sole purpose of this particular act. And this act was passed in 1991. So it's been there for 35 years now. But this act could not be implemented in letter and spirit because the financial powers in terms of this particular authority being able to use financial resources being given to it by the state government, just basically even to conduct meetings or different programs, was not part of the act, and law department had raised concerns on that, and therefore this amendment is a very, very basic administrative kind of an amendment, which is allowing this particular authority to have the provision of being able to utilize the funds which will be given to this authority by the state government to conduct their day-to-day activities, which is mostly meetings and coordination between the district councils and the state forest department and the government at large. So it's a very minor department, but as I said, it is necessary because without that the authority will not be able to function. The second notification was a very simple notification again. It was regarding the regulation of the use of name boards on official vehicles. As you recall that we had come out with an amendment on an SOP, where we had mentioned about the different sirens and lights and other VIP culture that was something that we were all concerned about. In that we had come out with an order saying that the transport department will define on who can be allowed to use name boards and not. And based on that decision, the transport department today had given the list of different individuals, rather positions, on who can use these name boards and who cannot, and what will be the format of the name boards. So therefore, there has to be a standard format as per designation, which will be now used, and that list was today approved. And the list is there with us, but it's too long for me to mention all the details. But mostly it is the different officials and the different positions at the government level and in the judiciary mostly, and in the administration. So these are the three main areas which, and of course, certain statutory positions from the central government perspective. So that was the second decision that we took. And our third decision was regarding an introduction of a one-time settlement scheme for waiver and reduction of penalties relating to motor vehicles tax, passenger and goods tax, and fitness fees. As you are aware, that there are many trucks and transporters who have been functioning and working in different sectors in the state, in different sectors. And in the past many years, say anything between 3 years to the last 20 years, there have been many of the different transporters and different vehicles and commercial vehicles who have not renewed their motor vehicles taxes, passengers goods taxes, and have not gone ahead with the fitness fees either. Now this was for multiple reasons. Somewhere the enforcement was not to the point where it should be. Somewhere the drivers themselves or the owners themselves of commercial vehicles, they did not take interest in actually renewing these. And after the different acts and laws that have come out from the central government, the fees for these kind of taxes are actually quite nominal, but the penalty that is charged on them for not renewing is something that is actually quite extreme, I should say. And just to give a small example to you, that the penalty for no fitness certificate, though the fitness certificate fees is about 1,200 rupees annually, the penalty for not having this is 50 rupees per day, which means if you don't renew it, you end up spending almost close to about 18,000 rupees just as penalty piling up. So you can imagine if there's a truck which has not renewed it for the last 20 years, you have almost close to 30 lakhs of fees that is, that piles up for that particular, 3 lakhs, I'm sorry, piles up for that particular driver or that particular vehicle owner. So the fees, though being rational, the penalties were something that were quite irrational, I should say. And that is an amount that's set up by the government of India. So in our basic calculation, we could see that if we just put the calculation of the penalties alone, especially when it comes to the penalties on no fitness certificate, the amount, if we were to calculate for all the trucks and vehicles, the amount would come up just of the penalties alone at about 900 crores. This is just a ballpark figure we have. And similarly, if you look at the figures for MV tax, it's about 21 crores. And if you look at the figures for 21 crores, and for the goods and passengers is about 5 crores. And as I said, if you look at the figures for the penalty, it's about 900 crores. So we realize that we need to ensure that a rational number comes out to allow these particular trucks and drivers and truck owners and commercial vehicles to actually sustain themselves, but at the same time also ensure that in the future all these commercial vehicles and truck owners are regular in their payments. And so keeping both these objectives in mind, and also keeping in mind that almost you can say 100% of these truck owners, drivers are all local people. They are all our own citizens. And therefore, if you're not able to find a solution to this, it will lead to a huge loss in terms of livelihood and financial stress for our own people. And a lot of them are poor people who have been using their vehicles for many years. And hence, we kept all of these factors in mind, and we came to a decision today that since the penalty figures which we saw, we felt were very high and they are notional numbers, and as I said, they've been just collecting for the last 20 years, we have decided in the cabinet that we will be exempting, as a one-time settlement, we'll be exempting 90% for the penalty for no fitness certificate. 90% will be exempted there. And for the MV tax and the goods and passengers tax, we will be exempting 80% from this in the one-time settlement, which will allow the different drivers and different commercial vehicle owners the at least the space to then be able to come back to normalcy, and will not put financial stress and burden on them. And we will be able to then regularize and monitor the future registrations and future fitness certificates in a proper manner. So this is a huge one-time settlement that we are doing for our transporters, keeping in mind that these are our people, our local people, and this kind of a stress would definitely lead to complete loss of livelihood, and in a way a complete halt to the overall transportation system within the state, as I said, especially keeping in mind our local people being involved in it. Yeah. So 1st of August 2026. So this one-time settlement issue, we urge all the transporters and the owners and truck owners and drivers to immediately take advantage of this, so that they are able to clear all the pending dues, because now they have to pay only 10% of the penalty and only 20% of the MV tax and goods passengers tax. So we are hopeful that this will give a huge relief to the transport sector in our state. So these were the three main decisions that we took in the cabinet today.